One of the biggest challenges as a marketer is when we launch new creative into Facebook campaigns and we get frustrated when they don't spend. Now, the common knowledge that we accept is that Meta has so many signals that it knows when and how to spend money for new ads. The reason we launch so much more creative with Meta's recent updates is because we just rely on it to know that it can use dozens of variations to find the ads that have the best chance of success at producing our outcomes. Most of the time, this is monetary, ROAS based, but there are a couple ways that we can kind of force Meta to spend without having to revert to something that's kind of getting phased out, being the ad set budget model. It's still the proper decision to put money into a CBO and then letting Meta make those decisions on our behalf. But there are some ways that we can test for a minimum budget. So in this client, we can see that this month we launched something where a lot of the two creatives are getting majority of the impressions in the account. Now, here's how we go about this. Now, this is a relatively new account, so I'm just using it as an example to show what we would do. So we would actually go into the campaign and duplicate it. We'll continue. You can always use welcome shared reactions, and I'm going to just name this creative force. Everything else will stay the same, so we'll go in and we'll delete everything but the creative that we want to force. So in this case, this is video number 3. We'll go in and unselect that and delete the rest. And then what we'll do is we'll launch this and we'll spend 1 day's worth of budget on it. So if you're working with a client or you're working with a business that maybe doesn't have that type of budget, you can always set this a little bit lower. Let's say maybe 15 or $20, but we are forcing that 15 or $20 for Meta to use just that one creative. And so when we spend that, let's say we only do 36 hours, maybe even only 1 day, then we'll pause. And what we'll do is we'll make sure before we launch this campaign, everything else will stay the same, but we're going to go and edit it. We're going to go into attribution settings and we're going to take away engaged and take away view through. So now we're working with one 7 day click through. And we're going to leave this as standard attribution, but now we're going to spend 1 day's worth of budget on this campaign, and we're going to observe how much purchase attribution will go through that entire 7 day window. So it's important at that point that we'll actually create a task in whatever task management software you're using, or just a reminder in a calendar, depending on how you are or who you are, to go back and observe this over 7 days. And when we do that, we're not only going to see if there's any ad lift or any purchase lift, but we're going to go into columns. We're going to go into compare attribution settings and we're going to add incremental attribution. So when we observe this, we're going to see what's happened and can we rely on this ad being one of the reasons that someone may have purchased? Because sometimes Meta, admittedly, will not use a model that looks at incremental attribution. And it's important to know that this is actually using AI to predict the chances of increased conversions because someone viewed this ad. In this case, we're looking for a specific click. We don't care if someone viewed the ad. We want to know if it's effective enough on a click model. And so that ends up doing is that helps us understand, is this creative worth pushing? In that case, we'll go to round 2 of exactly how we test. We don't have to change anything other than make sure that we note the time and date that we're doing this. We're going to go down to ad set spending limits. And here we can actually select a minimum or a maximum. So what we can do is force spend for a specific ad set if your creative is broken out that way. What I like using is the percentage value. The monetary value isn't as powerful because if you scale your budget up or down, it's going to continue to use that flat amount, and that's what we don't want. So in this case, I want to force spend behind this. I'm going to say at least 30% of my daily minimum should go towards this new set of creatives. What that does, that gives it Meta the opportunity to still spread out money. It might spend 70% if it finds that there's a purchase intent behind that. But what we're doing is we're telling it we want to at least get some minimum spend behind here without resulting to using an ABO method, which is being phased out. That's it from this edition. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments below or send us an email or let me know if you want to work with us. It is a powerful 2-person team. You'll be working directly with me. And as we grow, you'll use a system that's been proven throughout the last 3, 4 years that really works for helping brands scale beyond their goals. Adios.